A sellout here on the campus of UCLA. Let's take a look now at the officials for tonight's game. Tom Harrington, Richard Ballesteros, and Robert Garibaldi. Garibaldi is the same man who was quite a pitcher at Santa Clara and then later for the San Francisco Giants. Let's look now at the starting lineup for Alabama, and they have some changes due to the fact, as you look at the enthusiasm by the top-ranked Bruins, they have some changes due to the suspension of Terry Williams. As an end result, they're going to go with, for the first time this year, Mark Farmer. He's a 6'11 sophomore. He's never started a ball game. Buck Johnson, a freshman at the other forward. Hurt, Watley, and Davis, who have been starters this year. For UCLA, they've had the same starting five all year long. And I guess, Billy, when you're rolling like they are, you don't want to change a good thing.
Well, it may be one of the reasons that they're #1 in the nation right now is because they have solidified this lineup. They're very comfortable together, and I think that Larry Farmer likes the lineup and likes what he can do with the guys off the bench with it.
Fields and Foster in particular have been playing so very, very well for the Bruins. Foster's been on a roll, everything he puts up. Let's listen to Larry Farmer.
They get going crazy, shoot the ball real quick, we're not. We're going to come down and work with patience. Hey, let's play smart, let's play hard. Let's go.
Play smart and play hard. If you do that with good talent, you usually win.
There are the records. Alabama, we said, won their first 8. In fact, they won a big tournament just a month ago here in the Los Angeles area. The Winston Tire Classic defeated Georgetown by 21 points in the final. But now they've won only 2 of the last 8. And there is Wimp Sanderson, who is in his 3rd year. Now, in the Pac-10, they have a rule. Rather than jump it up at center, they have a flip of the coin. And Alabama won the toss, and so they'll take it out of bounds.
One other thing we might point out, not only are they going with the Pac-10 rule in regard to the coin flip, there are 3 Pac-10 officials tonight. Something that a visiting coach, I'm sure, would not like to have. He'd like to either have a split crew or maybe bring his own officials.
Mike Davis, you can see the heavily wrapped right thumb. He broke that thumb, but he missed only 1 game. Here is Watley, sophomore from Birmingham. Alabama on top, 2-0.
We may see Mo Watley tonight take the ball more offensively to try to score as opposed to pass. He knows he's got to pick up the offense.
He's averaging 14.5 points a game coming in here.
Straight man-to-man by both teams.
Fields, 6'7" junior. That ball was not shot well, and Davis retrieves. Watley, one of the best young guards in the country. Here's freshman Buck Johnson. And Johnson, who has not been shooting well, only 38% cans his first one.
Well, Wimp Sanderson has to be happy with that because Johnson has not hit well from the outside, and that was a nice perimeter shot.
The Crimson Tide lead at 4-0. You can see the bands on their jerseys commemorate the Bear Bryant. A foul inside as Fields made the power move.
That was a nice play by Gray, and realizing that he was being double-teamed, knowing that Fields would be open on the other side, he was ready to make the play. We'll see this. Now, there's a lob because Farmer was trying to punt Gray. As soon as he felt the pressure of coming over by Hurt, he knew to drop off the bounce pass, and that was a good foul by Johnson because you don't want the guy to get the 3-pointer.
There was our most valuable player the last time we were here in that Louisville game a month ago, Stuart Gray. Fields not shooting all that well from the line, 67%. In fact, they've got a couple of guys, Gray and Fields, who just don't hit well from the free throw line. And they've been working hard on it. Still looking for the first point. Oh, they are not shooting well at all. Gray had it for a moment, still has it, kicks it out to Darren Day.
Kenny Fields has thrown up 3 balls that went up so hard. There's another one.
Buck Johnson comes down with the rebound. He's 6'7", the most highly sought recruit out of high school in the state of Alabama. Watley, what they want to do is mirror him. They don't want him to penetrate. Keep him outside.
It's easier said than done, as Watley can handle the ball as well as anybody in the ranks.
There he is penetrating, just exactly what they don't want to have happen. Save. Look at Hurt's quickness. Bobby Lee Hurt at 6'9". Davis.
Tough shot. He was gliding off to the side.
Fields comes down to the rebound. He's averaging 8 a game. We played almost 2 minutes. No score yet by the Bruins. Day doesn't get it. Johnson with yet another defensive board.
That was some rebound because he was right up in Day's face in the jump shot and came back to get that rebound.
Last time we were here, Billy, this team started very slowly against Louisville. Trailed by 15. We're going to have a foul go against the Bruins, Kenny Fields.
Jackson is quick, but I don't think he's played against a player like Watley in a long time in terms of backcourt quickness who can also bring the ball with him.
They're saying that Jackson, Billy, was the guy that was guilty of the foul.
You know, a lot of guys are fast, but not many guys are fast like Watley, who can also bring the ball and take it with them like it's just an extension of their hand. Now watch him dribble the ball. It's like it's not even there.
And it goes to Hurt. He draws the crowd. He's the leading scorer on this team, averaging over 16. Buck Johnson playing with some confidence now. Tended for Farmer. Johnson retrieves it. Boy, the quickness of Buck Johnson. Watley to Hurt. He's fouled. They're penetrating very well.
They really are. They're showing that they have some excellent athletes with good quickness. Buck Johnson's been all over the floor tonight in a very short period of time, less than 2.5 minutes. He's picked up a lot of loose balls, been on the boards. Here's a good pass. See, there's Watley. He's one pass ahead all the time. There was Fields going up against Hurt, who wanted to throw that ball right down the rim.
Bobby Lee Hurt.
There's the black armband.
Hurt this year is shooting 73%. What an attitude he has. He really aggressive. He plays hard. They've been working on a certain phase of his game, trying to get him to catch the ball a little bit better.
Bobby Lee, of course, played under the pressure of all of the accusations that were made in regard to his recruitment to Alabama, and that had to take his mind off the game side.
And still, UCLA has not scored. They're 0 for 4 from the field. They trail 6-0. Jackson got a high of 17 points, a career high 2 games ago. Foster, they won't go. He's fouled. There must be a lid on that basket as far as Larry Farmer is concerned.
Well, here we have a great matchup, too, with Davis and Foster. Foster, one of the hottest guards in the country. Davis, one of the best defenders in the land. That ball rolled around the rim and came out. We've got Foster on the line right now, and as everybody knows, one of the premier foul shooters in the country.
However, Billy, he's missed 9 free throws after missing only 11 in the previous 2 years. Last year, he missed 5 for the whole year, 95%er. And I don't know, isn't it interesting how a guy can be that good, and all of a sudden, as Wimp Sanderson, it looked like he was too pleased by that miss, but here all of a sudden now, Foster is not getting those free throws to go down for him.
The leading free throw shooter in the country is Phil Cox with Vanderbilt, shooting 94%, and there are 6 kids in the country this year shooting over 90%.
Now UCLA as a team is 0 for 4 from the line, and they are not on the scoreboard.
Unbelievable.
Alabama with a 6-0 lead. Boy, this is so reminiscent of that game against Louisville. Then they came back in the second half. Pass intended for Davis. Stuart Gray's got it.
There was a case of Watley trying to make a play that wasn't there, particularly with a 6-0 lead.
Jackson to Fields.
Kenny Fields used the rim, as so many good players do, to prevent Hurt from getting over there for the block.
And so after 3 minutes of play, UCLA gets on the scoreboard.
And their fans get in the game.
Buck Johnson looking into Hurt. Johnson, I can't believe he's been shooting 38%. Can you?
Well, we watched Alabama practice yesterday, and it was as good a physical go as I've seen in a pregame play. There you go. Tough man-to-man. Farmer over there on Gray.
And he traveled to the ball. Rod Foster. One thing that concerned Wimp Sanderson was their turnovers. He wanted to cut them down to a minimum, and the rebounding. They lost so much rebounding when Eddie Phillips and Philip Lockett graduated. They had 15.5 a game between them. Right now, UCLA is turning the ball over. Here is Davis.
You see Alabama using a lot of patience. This is not a run-and-shoot ball club.
3 seconds. Bobby Lee Hurt too long in the lane. Second turnover against the Tide at the 16-14 mark. UCLA under Larry Farmer has won 28 of their last 30 games. That goes back to last season when they won 15 of the last 16.
I think the great tribute there is the fact that they weren't going anywhere in the playoffs and still won 15 of 16.
Fields, follow tip. Oh, he's struggling. He's working hard, though, and a held ball is going to come up. UCLA will go against the Bruins because Alabama won the toss and they had the ball first.
They're showing UCLA's ball.
Jackson will trigger. And we're going to have a timeout. 15:56 to go this first half of play. Alabama on the road, the first of 4 tough road games. Off the mark effectively, leading by scoring. UCLA right now is not doing the scoring they'd like to. They're 1 of 7 from the field and have missed all their free throw opportunities.
Alabama goes zone out of bounds. Look for Rod Foster against his zone. We've talked about how hot he is. See if he goes to look for his jump shot.
8-2. Alabama with the lead. 15:41 first half. Jackson. Boy, look at him bang the boards, but coming away with it is Day. Oh, didn't even go up. It's rejected by Hurt, but he gets it.
Great play by Day to not be distracted by Hurt, who made a tremendous block on the first attempt. Here's a 2-2-1 full court pressure.
And Mike Davis makes it a 10-4 game in favor of the Tide.
Nice pass by Farmer in the open court area. You don't expect it from a 6'11 player.
Remember, this Alabama team beat Georgetown by 21. They beat USC. They've beaten Kentucky, LSU. But they've only won 2 of the last 8.
Great switch by Farmer on that last play.
Day really having pressure put on by Buck Johnson, staying right in his face.
We're seeing some good man-to-man right here. They're playing people. And UCLA's not being impatient.
Jackson.
Why they're #1, Gary. Team that will go ahead and keep their patience even though somebody's playing super defense against them. There's the 2-2-1 full court press.
Larry Farmer wants Jackson to shoot more to open things up, and he's hit 1 of 2 now from out there. 10-6 Alabama. Boy, this Watley, we watched him handle the ball in practice yesterday. Rebound, Darren Day, breakaway to the Rocket. Rod Foster. Blocked. Nice play by Watley getting back there.
I think Rod a little upset there. He doesn't get many of those blocked when he goes on the break, because normally he runs away from people. But you can see Watley's quite an athlete, stays right with him, and that's a clean block. Beautiful defensive play.
That might have been unprecedented in Foster's career. Shows you again the ability of Watley to play both ends.
You notice Alabama, like most teams, playing a 2-3 zone out of bounds. Jackson's going after it.
Oh, he hit it. He had Davis almost colliding with him. And it's a 2-point game.
That's a good coaching move by Larry Farmer on Jackson, who has not been taking that shot against any zones right in the middle, and it's been open because people are worried about the other players.
17 points against California earlier was Jackson. He hasn't scored that much, averaging a little over 8 a game.
Gentlemen, due to technical difficulty, our program has been temporarily.
Nice job.
Foster.
Oh, he's on a roll, isn't he? You can hear the net from up here.
Sometimes the net doesn't move.
So clean.
We've had some technical difficulties, we understand, but they have been alleviated. So with a score 12-10, Alabama on top by 2 at the 13:08 mark. Buck Johnson pass to Hurt. Good catch by a guy that's not catching the ball well. Here comes Jackson. Watley. Back
What
to
a
Hurt.
steal.
Boy, they're hustling. Derek Richardson.
Pace is getting a little quick for Alabama right now.
Buck Johnson playing like a veteran rather than a first-year man. He has 6 points in the ball game. You know, that hustle, Billy, is carried over from practice last night. Alabama practiced so hard.
There's Buck again. Breaking their evidence today.
12:42, 14-10. Alabama has led all the way.
Well, Larry Farmer made a good statement yesterday, too. He said, when you are a great basketball team, there'll be periods when your offense lets down for 3 or 4 minutes. But the problem during that time for your opponent is your defense just picks you up and they don't score either.
Rod Foster, Richardson jumps out on him. Nice pass to Field. Kenny Field. Now with 4 points. It's a 2-point game again.
Hard to believe Alabama's in last place in any league.
2 and 6.
Including the NBA.
In the Southeastern Conference. Rebound. Stuart Gray threw it away. Richardson's challenging everyone. Watley, nice assist by Richardson.
Well, there was excellent depth in the backcourt with Davis and Richardson, Adams, who of course been hurt. But Alabama started the season with tremendous depth in that backcourt.
What they haven't been able to replace is the forwards of Phillips and Lockett. Fields high for the rebound. Boy, he's working the boards now.
I think the pace, as I mentioned before, is picking up to the point it really favors the UCLA running game. Alabama wants to be a little bit more tempo.
Bobby Lee Hurt against Gray. Rebound Johnson, he lost it. UCLA will have the basketball, but we're going to have a timeout at the 11:25 mark. The first meeting ever between these two clubs. They did meet one time in football in the Liberty Bowl. Third round action, the Phoenix Open. Jack Renner with the lead, and at halftime we'll take a thorough look at that leaderboard. 16-14 our score. After UCLA hit only 1 of their first 7, Billy, they now have hit 6 of their last 8 shots from the field.
And the tempo is picking up, and that's what I'm sure Wimp Sanderson talked to his kids during that timeout, is the fact that they've got to play a little bit more tempo game, because UCLA not only has a deeper bench, they also like to play when they can move the ball up and down the court.
Wimp Sanderson, 20 years an assistant coach at Alabama. Now in his 3rd year. The first year he took the Tide to the NIT. Last year the NCAAs. 16-14, Alabama had an 8-0 lead at one time.
Johnson trying to come out and really overplay on Darren Day.
Nice pass by Stuart Gray to Fields. Saved by Foster into Gray.
That's just good playing. You know, the UCLA team is so much better coordinated now than when we saw them a month ago. They just seem like they're all using their strengths. There was a case of Foster's quickness and Gray holding his ground.
But Gray really turned it around the game earlier. Mike Davis quiets the crowd a little bit. Look at that thumb. They didn't think he would play for 3 weeks. He missed only 1 game.
I know. I don't know how he's shooting so well or catching the ball so well. Quite an athlete.
Alabama, 2-point lead, 10:37 to go, first half. Or the Rockets, they have some respect. No, they come all the way out on him when he gets the ball. Jackson lost it. Fields retrieves.
What a move.
Bobby Lee Hurt goes down for it. It's going to be off of UCLA. Hustle on both ends. And it looks like Fields a little shaken up, getting up slowly.
Well, he's one of those guys that's got a powerful body, but still is so smooth to wiggle in between people. So he's got the power once he gets in there, and he's a very graceful player.
Another guy that's hurt is Stuart Gray. He was motioning to the side, and they may get him out of there. He was holding his leg. There's a little bit of pain.
It's interesting to see who's coming in, too, is Holton, which would be another guard in the game.
Holton is the captain, outstanding defensive player. Buck Johnson, who started him out well shooting the ball, pass to Hurt against Gray.
Well, Gray did a good job again.
And a foul will go against Alabama.
Gray held his ground, and even though Bobby Lee Hurt had good position inside, and it is not going to, I was mentioning that Holton coming in, I would be surprised if he'd come in to take Stuart Gray's place. Gray's really limping down the other end of the floor, as we can see there.
Farmer was the guy guilty of the last foul, his first. 4th team foul against Alabama. Okay. Now a chance to tie it up UCLA. As you mentioned, Holton coming in, Foster going out. Gray looking backdoor that time to Holton. Here he is. Fields against Hurt. That's quite a matchup.
Tough shot.
Watley, he's a good rebounder for a guard. To Davis. Look at this, Hurt.
Bobby Lee, quite a runner.
Got those long arms. He plays, Billy, like he's 6'11". Back to a 4-point lead now for Alabama. Jackson.
Tough shot again. Those are 2 bad shots by UCLA.
And boy, did Hurt go up and come down with a defensive board. Watley almost too far to Davis. He saves it to Watley.
He's looking for a tough pass again.
You got to be alert with Watley out there. He may bring that ball from anywhere.
I think sometimes he tries to make too tough a play.
Hurt, he's challenging Gray inside. 9 minutes to go in this first half. Gray right alongside him. There they go. 3rd time, a charm.
That was great team play right there. Into the post, man. He doesn't have it. Back out, right back in. You very seldom see it happen 3 times in a row, but that was just great teamwork.
And remember, Gray has about 3 inches on Hurt. That time, Hurt got the better of it, and after having to cut to 2, they've now bumped it up to 22. It is a busy weekend as we'll take a look ahead to what you can expect here on CBS. Also, our CBS coaches poll, UCLA on top. And Billy, we have a mystery guest at halftime.
Well, I'm going to stay alert and find out who it is.
This is a streaky team, this UCLA team, thus far shooting-wise. They hit 1 of their first 9, then 6 of 8, and now, Billy, they've hit 1 of their last 5. They've been up and down thus far.
Well, there you see UCLA winning percentage in the last 10 years, not bad, 85%. And during that time, they've gone through 4 head coaches, right?
And it's unbelievable the records they have. At one time, they won 98 straight here at Pauley Pavilion. Jackson, his team trailing 22-16. In the game now is Brad Wright shooting over Hurt. Coming in now, Brad Wright, he's 6'10", a sophomore out of Los Angeles.
Gary, you're talking about that roller coaster effect on the shooting percentages. UCLA didn't take good shots during this span where they've been down somewhat.
He had to cut to 2, but all of a sudden a little breathing room. Hurt.
Pretty good defense that time by Wright.
Davis on the floor, Hurt on the floor. We have a held ball. It will go to Alabama. We have a change now in this game for Alabama since that last timeout. Cliff Wyndham has come in, number 33. He's 6'5". He started 12 games. There he is, out of Emo, Alabama.
Last year, Cliff was what started 30 of 31 games, so it's not like he's a stranger to playing time.
But they've had to kind of take him out of there due to the fact they had to move Williams out. They wanted to get a different lineup in, and now here he is in after not starting. Wadley at the 8:09 mark. To Hurt.
Good catch.
He's not supposed to catch the ball well. Not a good shot, though. Hope today.
Bobby.
Buck Johnson.
That was amazing. That's Buck Johnson. Now let's see if he smacks this ball against the board before it hits the board. Nope, it hit the board and was on the way down. Good call.
It's now a 4-point lead for Alabama.
He came from a long way, though, to get his hands on that ball.
Darren Day does an excellent job on those breaks. At 6'8", he handles the ball so well. Johnson, and he's fouled. Holton tried to stay with him, and that's a real mismatch.
Johnson playing extremely well for a freshman here tonight. Not making any mistakes, playing all over the floor.
They call Holton the extinguisher. He has the ability to come in defensively and just shut down an offense. That time, though, he couldn't get up high enough. He's 6'4". Buck Johnson 6'7". Wadley will bring it in at the 7:40 mark. Nice ball movement. Hurt, broken up by Brad White, and it'll go off of Alabama. Good play by 32.
Nice overplay by Wright. Probably Hurt got away with a little push-off inside. Good defense.
Wright had an outstanding game against Oregon this year. He had 8 of 8 from the field at 16 points.
UCLA ran that play without throwing the ball to the postman. Just the old blind pig, and there's Holton listed as a guard being able to make the dunk.
Very seldom see a guard do that. Here's Davis. The crowd's ignited right now. Davis, his own rebound. Well, yep. That'll be the 4th turnover against Alabama.
UCLA's been running this play by throwing the ball to the center. This time they went right over the center's head to the backdoor cut to Holton. Just perfect timing. Perfect timing.
As you mentioned, he's 6'4", but you saw the leaping ability. And now a chance to tie this ball game up is UCLA. Day on Johnson. Wright and Wadley, and it's going to be a foul on Brad Wright.
Mo Wadley, although listed as a guard and playing in the point guard position, it's amazing how he gets in there on rebounding. There's Holton going up. That's the end of that alley-oop lob pass. And you can see his knees are up to people's shoulders.
Back to the live action. Alabama still with a 2-point lead. A couple of times UCLA could have gone down and tied it up. Could not do it. Reach in by Holton, who's come in now and ignited this team. Here he is with the ball, and he can't save it.
That's a tough break for UCLA because they were off and running. You notice that Holton seems to be giving Wadley more trouble than Foster and Jackson were earlier defensively.
6:30 to go until halftime.
Wright's really leaning on Bobby Lee Hurt.
That's a good 1-2 punch, isn't it? If you can bring Wright in. Prescott Gray.
He got 10 fouls.
Here's Buck Johnson. Oh, what a shot. It counts, and he's fouled by Darren Day.
Buck hasn't missed tonight, has he?
8 points.
Then he made that one layup that he made after he was fouled, which didn't count.
You know, it's interesting, Billy. Sometimes national television will bring out the worst of people, and then sometimes it brings out the best, and that may be the case. Buck Johnson just hasn't been able to shoot well at all. He's been averaging 8 points. He's already got 8 in this game tonight. A foul on Day is first, the 16th foul against the Bruins.
I talked about Bobby Lee Hurt's the recruiting stories and problems for Bobby Lee Hurt, and Buck has gone through that same experience. And he's having a night tonight.
Right. Bobby Lee Hurt doesn't give him another opportunity. Amaro 1 o'clock Eastern, we'll have more basketball from Civic Center in Birmingham. UAB plays host to DePaul. Here, there's a timeout. Alabama leads by 5.
Spread us out, just lock in and put
Tomorrow on CBS Sports Saturdays, some boxing. Davey Moore, unbeaten, 8 knockouts. He won the title in his 9th pro fight. Gary Guyton. I don't think he has a lot of respect for Moore. In fact, we're going to have a piece at halftime that'll show that. The Super Skates and World Cup skiing. Larry Farmer during that break said, got it up. We got to get back in this ball game.
He gave them some very good advice about when their players get the ball inside. He thinks they're making too many fakes and taking fadeaway jump shots. He wants them to go straight inside with power moves.
Alabama with a 5-point lead.
Now, Alabama called that timeout with 5 minutes and 57 seconds to go in a lead. I think we're going to see Alabama spread UCLA a little bit.
Mark Farmer back in the ball game now for Alabama.
You notice they're spreading them out a little bit on the court. Little semi-delay game here.
Buck Johnson, who has 8 points, hurt. Nice cutter. Nice play.
Beautiful. That was some timeout by Wim Sanderson, and he is so happy with his coaching staff. Look at, they're up on that sideline because they called that timeout specifically to set up an open play.
Well, he has a new staff this year. Only guy that's back is Benny Dees. The rest an entire change from last season. Biggest lead of the ball game now, 27-20. Ron Foster has a fourth shot.
That was Farmer's great defense, jumping out there to help on the switch and then getting back on his man. He doesn't have any points tonight, but he's doing a good job defensively.
His first start from Arab, Alabama.
Here's that open offense again. Nobody playing in the post.
Here is Farmer, the man we've been talking about, to Davis. 4:56 left in the first half. They're in no hurry. They're using the cutting situation inside. Buck Johnson has it broken up by Foster.
3-on-1.
That's the speed that you hear so much about. The Rocket. Maybe the fastest man in basketball. We've seen some others this year, though, that would contend for that.
What I think Enos Rutley should have done in that play is try to draw the charge. You got 3-on-1. You're not going to make the big play, so just try to draw the charge on the man with the ball.
Cutter, reach in. Foster batted it away. Kenny Fields will come back in for the Bruins at the 4:26 mark. And going out will be Gary Melanson, who is in for a brief time there. There he is, 53. Melanson out of Gardenia, California. Crenshaw High School, same high school that produced Marcus Johnson. Boy, when you have a lead, here's a man you like to have. Isn't it Watley, the way he can handle the ball?
Well, this is the tempo game that really favors Alabama.
He's back. Pressure up, kid.
You have the nice momentum going. Sometimes you can take your momentum off.
Oh, that's a bad shot. Oh, Farmer should never have taken that, but Hurt may salvage it.
It's one of those no. You're right.
Yes.
That's right. Farmer surprised everybody by taking that, including the Alabama bench.
Probably himself. 29-22.
Buck Johnson doing a good job keeping the ball away from Darren Day. He steps out and get it there.
Johnson tips it over to teammate Davis.
And you see Alabama doesn't even try to go on the break. They're just trying to walk this down and keep UCLA in a slow tempo game.
Gray back in now. He replaced Wright. He got the breather. Davis against Gray. Gray has a rebound. Well, that was a quick shot, but just couldn't get it to go.
Well, as a coach, you can't ask any more than guys execute the play.
Darren Day misses again, and Davis going high. Davis is 6'4", and you saw his leaping ability.
What's happening to UCLA right now? By tempoing this game, Gary, UCLA wants to run. They want to throw it up quickly, and so they're coming down, not running their offense patiently. They're putting up the quick shot and not a good shot.
You can see again, Billy, how important tempo is.
Come on, Mike. Pressure up, Mike.
2 minutes, 50 seconds.
Not a good
Tennifer
pass.
Hurt, and he saves it. Holton has it. Watley's got it back. No, that's okay. You can go back because it was touched by UCLA. No backboard. Davis.
Watley never had control.
31-22. That was a tough shot by Davis. Biggest lead of the game now for the Crimson Tide, and the crowd now a little bit shaky. They're getting up. They want something to happen. The top-ranked Bruins trailing. Foster. That's not the Foster shot.
I think Rod Foster slipped just a little bit, but there's being some real fine man-to-man defense played against him.
Farmer committing the foul, his second.
5-3 here. We're going to
There was Foster coming over, and there was a man. We get blocked off a little bit, but the man was behind him. Stuart Gray powering pretty good on the inside, and there's the foul over his back.
Now this is an adventure at the free throw line because Stuart Gray is not shooting well. They've worked on him. They've tried to work on the fact he only makes one motion when he shoots it. He's shooting this year 35% from the line.
Gary, what you're talking about on the one motion is this. They felt that Stewart was getting two motions in the shot. Now what they're trying to do is get him to bring the ball up to a spot, then stop, and then just go in one motion. And he's shooting a lot better, and as soon as he gets some confidence, I think he's got a good-looking shot there.
That's the first free throw that UCLA has hit tonight. They're 1 of 6. 31-23. The Crimson tied to the lead.
Stuart Gray coming out and really playing Bobby Lee Hurt.
Nigel Miguel now, number 25, is checked in. He is picking up Buck Johnson defensively. UCLA going to their depth now. Alabama a little shaky in that department. They do not have that kind of depth. Watley. Farmer over the back. That's his third foul.
That could really hurt Alabama, because they don't have that other big man to go to.
Interestingly enough, the other big man you're talking about is Terry Williams. Even though he was suspended, he's dressed, he worked out, he's on the bench. Coach Wimp Sanderson told us he wanted to see what he was missing.
And of course, everybody remembers when he came out here the last time, he was 14 for 15 against Georgetown. So that's quite a loss.
Tomorrow, Billy, Gene Bartow's Blazers from the Sun Belt Conference against DePaul, the Blue Demons. Bernard Randolph has returned to Ray Meyer's club. That's 1 o'clock Eastern.
There are two teams that have a very pivotal game right there to get postseason play recognition.
1 minute, 40 seconds left until halftime. Fields. Gray follows.
Against the zone. Let's see if Alabama holds it for the last shot right here. Tries to work this clock down.
Watch the moving screen.
You can hear Larry Farmer in the back say, watch the moving screen, trying to work those refs.
Look at this by Buck Johnson. He's unreal here tonight.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see the next time that Alabama gets the ball if they go ahead and hold it. They're in a 2-3 zone now.
Buck Johnson with 11 points. You see the time. We approach a minute left. Holtz fouled.
Foul inside on the push-off.
It's away from the ball. Richardson, we thought, was guilty, but it's inside instead. They're going to give it against Buck Johnson. Alfonso Buck Johnson. Another one of those outstanding players from Birmingham.
We'll see the foul on the inside. 32 pushing off. No question about the foul.
You know, he's not very big. They've been trying to put some weight on him. They've had him hitting the weights.
Here's that one motion we talked about before, but it's a matter of confidence factor right now.
Stuart Gray has 5 points, 8 rebounds, still 33-25. Less than a minute to go in the first half.
53 seconds.
Pressure up, Ken.
Alabama should only take a layup here.
Davis, 2 big men up in his face. Hurt had it for a moment, saved by Davis. Into Hurt against Gray. Nice looking shot.
Bobby Lee Hurt has been using a little pump fake every time he got inside. That time he went with just a smooth motion. I think he caught Gray off balance.
14 points for Bobby Lee Hurt, who's averaging 16.2. And now their biggest lead of 10 points.
2-1-2 zone again.
You see the time, the lower right-hand portion of the screen. UCLA will be trailing. This will be the second game nationally we've televised. They trail by 15 at half against Louisville and now 10 at half against Alabama.
They had the lob to Gray, but they're not throwing it in there.
Jackson double teamed. Holton. Rebound. Hurt. Kicked outside to Fields, and that's going to end it. So Alabama has surprised some people here.
Nobody in the SEC, I can assure you. They know they're a good ball club.
The Southeastern Conference, they've been chopping everybody up. The score, Alabama 35, UCLA 25. NCAA basketball will continue after this word from your local. A surprising Alabama team in this first half, Billy. And Wimp Sanderson, you wouldn't know he was leading by 10, would you?
Well, he looks a little better than he did before the game started. I think he's coming around some.
Start of the second half. UCLA will inbounds the ball. Darren Day to do that.
First couple of minutes, as in so many of these types of games, are going to be critical here to see if UCLA can pick up the tempo. Their fans realize it. They're trying to get started, and Alabama will try to keep that tempo down.
Jackson moving against Watley.
That's an interesting set for UCLA to start the second half. Then Jackson just take Mo Watley right down inside.
UCLA, it took them 3 minutes to score in the first half. First shot in the second half, and they're on the board. 35-27. Watley against Gray. Gray got a piece of it. Watley got it back. Gray's challenging him again. This time Watley. What an effort. It goes. It'll count, and he's fouled.
3 rebounds for Mo Watley inside, all against big people. This is some effort. There's one of them. He goes up against Gray with a good pump fake. Gray does a good job not to foul. Bobby Lee Hurt gets a hand on the ball. Watley comes back, and he makes this one off the glass. Some shot.
Remember now, Watley comes in at 6'3". Stuart Gray's a 7-footer. 6 points for Ennis. So the three-point play gives them an 11-point lead. Their biggest lead of the game. 38-27.
There's a guy who hadn't gotten on track tonight. Darren Day hadn't been a factor in this ballgame so far. Good steal.
Davis has it. Darren Day looks like he might be a little overweight after trying to gain some weight. Here's a rocket. Rod Foster. Farmer had a hand on it. He's playing with 3 fouls. Nice pass.
Well, here's where UCLA trying to turn on this game. You see they're picking up a lot higher right now defensively, trying to force this action.
They seem to be so much quicker than when they started the ball game. Davis out to Bobby Lee Hurt.
That's his shot. He likes that range.
Gray was in his face, but Hurt now with 16 points. That's his seasonal average. Bobby Lee Hurt, a high of 25. He's had 15 rebounds in another game. A sophomore.
UCLA sending everybody low now.
Fields tried to go in. Bob it better of it, hit it anyway.
Puts that body on people when he makes the spin. Now you notice that Alabama runs everybody down the baseline also, and it's tough to defend Alabama with Watley out there as a point.
They're trying to keep him from penetration. He's fouled by Jackson.
Maybe Jackson shouldn't have taken Watley on that first time down the court because it looks like Watley wants to go on him every time.
That's a second foul on Jackson.
Might have made him angry.
So 2 threes going against each other, Jackson and Watley.
There's Whip. He's not ready to smile yet.
Ennis Watley was the Mr. Basketball of Alabama his senior year, playing at Phillips High School in Birmingham.
Well, Gary, the state has turned out so many great players. Leon Douglas, T.R. Dunn. Wendell Hudson was the first great black player that went to Alabama.
Wasn't Artis Gilmore from that area?
Well, he was from Dothan, Alabama, played in Chipola, Florida. Then he went up to Gardner-Webb Junior College and then down to Jacksonville, but he was from the state of Alabama.
41-31, the Tide by 10. That's thrown away. Gray went one way, the ball another.
Although Farmer's not putting up a lot of stats in this game, he is giving some trouble inside.
Now Hurt took advantage of Gray and company not getting down the floor in a hurry.
Larry Farmer upset with his team. Even though Alabama's playing a tempo game, they will strike for the quick one.
Bobby Lee Hurt with 18 points, 43-31, 17:36 left in the game. UCLA, top ranked, 13-1. They've won 20 straight here.
Good defense by Farmer again on the switch.
Oh, boy. Blocked by Hurt. Fields retrieves it.
Now that'll go down a basket for Fields, who's being guarded by Hurt, but it wasn't his fault that Fields got the basket because he went over and helped out on for a teammate.
Fields with 10 points in the game. Back to a 10-point lead. Davis in trouble. He wobbled it. No, they're going to call a held ball, which will go to UCLA anyway. No, it will go to Alabama. Correction, the alternating held ball. This time, it will go to Alabama.
He had his hand on the ball all the way. Actually, if he would have let go with the ball, it would have been a walk instead of a held ball.
This crowd into the game now with 17 minutes left. UCLA's got to play again here Sunday against Notre Dame. Watley.
He took Kenny Fields. He felt he had a bigger man on him, used his quickness.
You think the longer they stay in the lead, the more confidence they're getting in this game. They're starting now to do some things they didn't even do in the first half.
One of the things Watley's doing tonight is putting the ball up. Great fake.
Jackson. Rebound Davis. Here comes Watley. Fields is back. Oh, look at that. I don't know how Hurt anticipated it. He did. He's fouled into the count. I don't know how he had any idea that ball was coming.
Look at Bobby Lee. Does he love playing the game? Watch this pass by Watley. He knows where everybody is on the court. He's going to dump this left-handed behind his back. Here comes Bobby Lee Hurt. Some fast break by two fine athletes.
And Hurt will come back with a free throw, and Alabama now leads at 47-33. Wimp Sanderson's team now with a 47-33 lead. Bobby Lee Hurt will be going to the line. Hurt with 20 points. He's 9 of 13 from the field. You touched on this in the first half, Billy. There was a lot of controversy around Bobby Lee Hurt, how he ended up at Alabama, all kinds of court cases and so forth. Seemingly, he has been able to put that behind him.
Well, he always enjoyed playing the game. From the first time I ever saw him in high school, he smiles, he loves to play, so I think he conquered that pretty well. The state of Alabama has been kind of torn. You know, there are a lot of great programs down there. You've got South Alabama, Auburn, who has a great ball club this year. Then you've got Alabama, and you've got UAB. So you got four major schools in the state that's turning out an awful lot of talent.
Bobby Lee Hurt now with 21 points, the biggest lead of the game for the Crimson Tide, 48-33.
Look for UCLA to start going inside some more. There they are right there.
Holton gets it into Fields, and he's fouled as he put the ball down.
Going to be a block to beat, not in the 1-and-1 this early in the half, and that was before the shot went up.
If that's on Farmer, it's 4, and that's his 4th foul.
Wimp is probably going to have to take him out because he's got a lot of time on his clock, and Farmer has played, in my estimation, a great role player game. He's played well on defense. He's helped his team immensely, although he's not in the stats.
Jackson at the 16-11 mark. Looked like UCLA would be off and making a move. They hit the first basket to start the second half, but Alabama then spurted again.
UCLA doing a smart thing here, working their offense, trying to be patient.
There you go. Alabama's playing some tough defense.
They really are. Tough man-to-man. Might have been a walk.
Gonna have a foul on Watley.
Jackson was able to keep his back foot on that ground, close to a walk.
Watley committing the foul. Billy, getting back to Farmer, what kind of a role do you think that Farmer has played for this Crimson Tide team?
First of all, he's enabled Bobby Lee Hurt to play the second man in the front line. He's committed 4 fouls, so he's kept Hurt out of foul trouble. He's been doing a great job on the switches. When men set solid screens, he's been jumping out to help the guards. And he's been able to take up some room inside, even though he hasn't gotten a lot of rebounds blocking out other people. So he's been a perfect role player in this game.
Jackson with 7 points in the game, now 48-35. They're going to leave Farmer in there at those 4 fouls.
Well, I don't think he's going to stay in there long. I really don't. I think they've got to get him out. Here's that full court pressure, almost a 5-second call.
Buck Johnson, who played so well in the first half,
going nowhere.
Off of Stuart Gray.
He got himself stuck in the corner, got away, fortunately there.
Now coming in is Eric Richardson, and starting to leave was Davis. Now Farmer will leave.
Yeah, I think this is a very wise move by Wimp Sanderson because he recognizes more than we do how important Farmer has been to his club.
Davis can't get it. Hurt does have the ball momentarily. Look at the hustle by the 6'9" sophomore. It's going to be off of him. You talked about the enthusiasm of Hurt. There's just another example of how he loves to play the game.
He just plays hard. Well-conditioned athlete, has great foot speed and quickness. Now they're back in the zone here. Well, I thought they were back in the zone because Bobby Lee didn't realize who his man was. He's now on Gray. Let's see if they go to Gray some.
Jackson gets it off to Darren Day. Again, Alabama really playing tough. The defense man-to-man, walking is Holton. That's 6 turnovers now against UCLA.
Here comes that full court pressure. 2-2-1 full court press. Gray all the way back. They're really pushing that press up now. You can see Gray's the only guy on the other end of half court.
Holton batted it out of bounds. He'll trigger it again.
And you notice how far up court this press is. What Larry Farmer's trying to do is to make this a much quicker game. What a dangerous pass.
There's the stabilizer, Wadley, giving it back now to Richardson. Foul. Jackson commits the foul.
He's reaching with his hands, not moving his feet.
That's 3 on Jackson. 4th team foul against the Bruins.
Pretty early for 4.
Especially when you're trailing 48-35.
Especially when the other team is controlling that ball fairly well.
Wadley will bring it out to Johnson. Look at those long arms of Buck Johnson, 6'7". They want to put about 20 pounds on him. But he's muscled inside tonight. Davis to Wadley. Wadley penetrating. Holton bumped him. Gray. Fields has it. The crowd on their feet.
They want to move.
Holton has reached in and has broken up. Here we go the other way. 2 on 1, 3 on 1.
Oh, what a pass. What is so tough when you're playing against a team that's tempo in the ball, but also can strike in the fast break, you never can be in balance. And tonight it's like a good junk ball pitcher we're seeing out here.
Darren Day. They needed that one. There's a long drought there.
You get a guy that's a junk ball pitcher who also has the sneaky fastball, and that ball looks so quick when it comes, and that's what we're seeing tonight. Alabama's throwing a lot of junk at UCLA, and then they come in with a fastball every once in a while.
Alabama's kept enough distance that they haven't allowed this crowd to really be a factor yet. Now,
good defense by Darren Day.
UCLA with the turnover. Here's Holton at the 14-minute mark.
Darren Day wide open.
Day rejected by Hurt. Wadley as Jackson drops back. Beautiful pass to Johnson. He's fouled. Darren Day may have hit the upright there, and looks like he's going to be all right.
Darren Day hustled his way back there, and there again, Wadley showing that they can strike on the break.
It doesn't look like they have a lane or a break, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they'll flash somebody, and the ball's there.
Notice how easily Wadley gives the ball off on the break. There's almost like no effort. Watch him. He knows where everybody is in the court. Oh, I see a drop pass down inside. There goes Johnson, and there was Darren Day. Almost came up with a great block.
I don't know if people realize how difficult a pass that is, the bounce pass on the move like that.
That was a good catch by Buck Johnson, too.
There's the man who had 11 points in the first half. As a team now, they are 6 of 9 from the free throw line. On the other hand, UCLA's hit 3 of 9.
Shooting 70% as a team, though, from the foul line.
Well, this is a good shooting ball club. They're shooting 53% from the field, too. They were leading the SEC in scoring, but it's been the rebounding.
Darren Day was in the lane too early, but it wasn't called because the shot went in.
51-37. Rod Foster, boy, he's been quiet, Billy. He has not even been really the offensive threat you would think he would be. Davis comes away. They're not letting him have those follow shots.
Nope, good quickness. Wim Sanderson said most big games are won down in the paint. And his club has done an excellent job tonight preventing UCLA from playing volleyball in the backboards. Here's that open offense again. Nobody really playing the center. Everybody breaking down.
Well, they have the luxury now of just taking their time. Wadley off to Hurt. Leading man on the floor. Buck Johnson. Reach in by Nigel.
Well, yeah.
Eric Richardson, who had 22 points in the game earlier this year when he replaced the injured Davis. So he's a fine player.
It's amazing. You watch a game like this. I saw Vanderbilt play Alabama earlier in the year, and they put on a clinic down in Tuscaloosa. Tonight it's Alabama putting on a clinic.
The Southeastern Conference is something, Billy. They were 78-17 against non-conference teams, and then they started chopping each other up in league play.
They've got it spread out. UCLA's got to push their defense way out and take some chances.
Nice move by Johnson. Hurt tries to follow, and he's guilty of the foul. Boy, the quickness of Buck Johnson. That was a very good move, but he couldn't get the ball to drop for him.
Great spin move right here. Johnson had everything he wanted. He was inside. Good takeoff, just a little short on the shot. And there's Bobby Lee Hurt going over the back. Now, I mentioned Farmer. He's been sitting out, but you notice Bobby Lee picks up another foul.
That's his second, third-team foul against Bama.
And he's playing Fields. I think UCLA ought to go to Fields some, try to pick up some more fouls on Hurt.
Holton losing a little control, now gives it off to Foster. Today, reach in by Richardson. That will go to Darren Day.
Buck Johnson's done a good job so far on Darren Day.
Darren Day with 10 points. Steal by Fields. Off to Holton. And Richardson bats it out. A collision.
Should have been a foul that time on Holton.
Holton just shouldered Davis out, but Richardson's got it. Quick hands.
Wim Sanderson up off the bench. He wants his team to slow everything down. Of course, they get it in the hands of Watley, who knows exactly what to do.
Alabama would like to turn their season around after winning only 2 of their last 8. They come in here 10-6 for the year. Buck Johnson.
And he went on Kenny Fields.
14 points for Buck Johnson.
I think this has been as solid a performance as we've seen by a freshman player this year. He's just not doing anything wrong.
And Wimp Sanderson last night was saying, oh, he's jittery. He just isn't playing with confidence, but you don't see that tonight.
Well, he's playing the veteran, Darren Day, and look at him, there he is again.
He saved it. Nope, he was out of bounds. Almost pulled it off, and Davis goes over and gives him the high five. And at the 11-10 mark, we have a timeout. This Alabama team that led by 10, they have not wilted. They still have the lead.
At the free throw line. He's wide
At
open.
one time, UCLA teams won 98 in a row. This current squad has won 20 in a row. They talk about the mystique of Pauley Pavilion. Right now, it's not playing in their hands. It's not working the way the Bruins would like for it to.
Well, I think the reason for that is Alabama came in with an excellent game plan. Their guys are playing tough man-to-man defense. Look at Wimp. I mean, you would think sooner or later we're going to see a smile out of him. You know, he has to look to 4 tough league road games as soon as he leaves Southern California. He may want to come out here and stay after he did to USC and Georgetown.
That was on December 28th and 29th. Darren Day, who has 10 points, is going to be off of Alabama. The biggest lead of this game was 15 points by Alabama.
I think what we're going to have to see from UCLA in the next couple of minutes, Gary, is kamikaze defense, where they come out and just force this game to get to a faster tempo. It only happened once in the game in the first half, and Wim Sanderson called his timeout, got his team back under control.
Nigel Miguel gives it off to Jackson. Kenny Fields.
It's out of bounds.
Watley almost had the steal made. You know, we're talking about Rod Foster. His last hoop was with 4:46 remaining in the first half. He has only 4 points in this game.
Well, you know who's playing him, don't you? Davis. And Davis covered Ellis last year. Ellis may be as good an all-around offensive player as there is in the country. Maybe as good an all-around player as there is in the country.
Larry Farmer in that last break said there's a lot of time, but there's not going to be if they keep doing this.
Well, there's time to be patient on offense, but they've got to really force things to happen defensively. Buck Johnson on Day, Hurt on Fields. There's Johnson again. Good cutoff.
Followed by Hurt, and he's fouled by Miguel.
Buck Johnson tried to cut Darren Day off with his body on that break. Nigel Miguel making a bad pass right here. He knew it the minute he let it go. Now let's see if there's not a foul right here. Look at that contact. To be quite honest with you, I think the foul was on Buck Johnson. It wasn't called. You don't have the right to go over and take the other man's position on the floor. Gray going to come into the game.
Hurt, you see what he's done tonight. And you can't put it in a statistical column, but his enthusiasm has been so good. Stuart Gray will come back into the game. Darren Day will exit.
Gary, you mentioned some, the 90-some wins here at home. I think the greatest UCLA record is the record that John Wooden had of 38 straight NCAA games, tournament games. 38 straight. That is mind-boggling.
Well, winning as many NCAA championships as he did. There's the time, and that also, we should indicate, the biggest lead of the game.
UCLA just can't force Alabama to play quicker. Good lob.
Fields, he's fouled.
That's 3 on Bobby Lee. Wimp Sanderson's going to have to go. One of the things he's got to be thinking about down there is with Farmer, who has 4. Here's the lob. Fields goes up so strong. There's the foul. But what he's got to think about in regard to Farmer is that you don't need Farmer at the end of the game if you're trying to delay it, because you're going to want your ball handlers and your quicker guys out there. Might even go with a 3-guard lineup. So he can come back with Farmer now and save Bobby Lee to the end of the game some.
However, he did handle the ball pretty well that time they were using that cutting offense. There he is with 4 fouls.
But he doesn't want to have Bobby Lee Hurt out of the ball game at that time.
That was the 3rd foul, as you said, on Hurt. And as a team, the 4th.
Nice move by Stuart Gray trying to come on the inside. Here's that pressure.
Jackson.
Here's where the game's going to be won or lost. Can UCLA turn this into a kamikaze game?
Richardson to Davis. Rebound Jackson, and now the Bruins are trying to make a push.
And if they make a basket here, you can believe Win Sanderson will call a timeout.
Foster.
You believe he'll call a timeout here. They need the time right now.
Davis brings it back out to Watley. He wanted to, it looked like, and now he kneels down. You can see him.
I really think he needs the timeout to take the crowd out of the game.
Watley, boy, that'll quiet him for a moment. 57-44. Enos Watley with 12 points. 9:22 left. A little spurt there by the Bruins, but Watley answered with one that may have quieted it down again. Let's see.
Buck Johnson is on Kenny Fields. Fields got some strength on him
Oh,
inside.
did you see that screen set up by Gray to get Foster loose? That was a teeth rattler.
There's a truck out there.
After that, as you mentioned, kamikaze style, now Watley slows it down a little bit. They want to slow the tempo. They have the lead.
Yeah, UCLA's got to go for steals here. They've got to take the chance to get this game moving.
Look at Watley. 2 big baskets.
But one of the things Wim Sanderson said is that he's got to get Watley to put the ball up more, and he's been doing it tonight right from the outset. Somebody's wide open.
The top-ranked team in the country is in trouble. Stuart Gray. They've won 7 in a row. Their only loss to Maryland. That occurred in 2 overtimes on the road. 59-46, 8:20 left. Buck Johnson lost it. Foster. Davis got a piece of him, and Davis hits the floor out of the playing area. He's jarred a little bit. That is very hard in that area. There's just a rubber surface, not a cushion at all. That's like landing on concrete.
The other thing he's got to be careful of, Gary, is his thumb. Now you can see he's shaking it. He has a broken thumb, and you know, you try to, when you land, you try to have your hand down, and your thumb would really get pushed back.
Well, it's amazing Davis has played with that broken thumb. CBS's coverage of NCAA basketball continue after this word from your local station. We're talking about the Southeastern Conference. The fact that Alabama's 2-6, and they come in here and play this #1 team, the Bruins, the way they're playing them. It shows you again the balance, the fact that they're just chopping each other up. At one time, they had 3 teams ranked in the top 12 before they got into conference play.
And those people who will watch our game tomorrow will be seeing it played in Birmingham. That's where the SEC tournament will be this year. And you talk about a balanced tournament. They'll be, all 10, of course, get an opportunity to be in the tournament. But the 8 that finally make it will really have themselves a go.
Larry Farmer probably wishes there was more time left on the clock. There's 8:13 as Rod Foster will have another free throw coming.
And he wants Rod to make these fouls so they can jump right into their pressure.
He did that after missing one in the first half.
Here's the pressure, and I talked about kamikaze pressure. Nobody guarding the man taking the ball out of bounds. Fortunately for Alabama, they get it to Watley.
Davis reach in by Fields. They break the pressure. Richardson. Hurt can't hang on to it. It's off of Hurt.
One of the things that Wim Sanderson worries about is Bobby Lee's hands. That was a tough pass to catch. And what Alabama has to realize, they've got enough points. They just need to control the ball.
Less than 8 minutes, 7:57 to be exact, left in this game.
Important basket here to get it down under double figures.
That ball was kicked, so UCLA will inbounds. Richardson was the guy that got the foot on it.
Watched Alabama. I talked about the game that I saw them play against Vanderbilt. They had to make an incredible comeback to get back in that game. They tried to do the same thing against Tennessee, and they didn't have much luck. Now they've got the lead.
Stuart Gray did not know they were going to pass the ball. He turned and faced the basket.
It really wasn't his fault. It really wasn't his fault. He turned to go make a screen across the lane.
Bobby Lee Hurt. Alabama's had 4 losses this year by less than 4 points. Richardson.
There's that open offense.
Richardson has really helped coming off the bench.
Open offense, getting good solid screens. Let's see, you got Buck Johnson on Fields. That's a big matchup that UCLA's got to take advantage of.
Holton got loose. He got away from Richardson. 61-15, 11-point lead. 4 points now for Holton. Let's watch the press. You can see it now, high above.
You can see that UCLA is not guarding the man taking the ball out of bounds. They've got to keep the ball away from Watley.
Boy, did they break that easily.
Smart play by Richardson. They need the ball now, not more points.
Look at Gray. That's too aggressive. That's a foul. Stuart Gray just kind of chested him out of there. That's his third foul. And now the 7th team foul. So now they will be shooting 1-and-1s.
Alabama in the bonus. UCLA only at 5. So it'd be another foul, 2 fouls actually, till they're in the 1-and-1.
The time, 6 minutes, 50 seconds to go. An 11-point lead for Alabama.
Yeah, I think a good thing for UCLA, if they're not going to guard the man taking the ball out of bounds, is to double team Watley on the in-bounds pass so that he can't get control of that ball.
In this half alone, Watley has 11 points, 15 for the game. You see a seasonal average.
Free throw shooter.
He can bump it back to a 13-point lead and does. Those Nets are holding the ball up a little bit, and that's not to UCLA's liking. They want to get out of there with it.
And Alabama still playing that hard-nosed man-to-man defense.
They've got a tough road trip coming up, 3 more games, but boy, what impetus this will give them if they can win it. Watley saves it somehow to Davis.
What hands?
Look at this. Hurt. He's hitting the deck out of the field of play, and here comes Foster.
Davis coming behind him.
Holton. That's 2 baskets now by the captain, and there's the time left. It's now 63-52.
Watley really didn't need to throw that lob pass to Bobby Lee Hurt. It wasn't a high-percentage play.
He has a little flair once in a while, might lose a little control.
Well, he can make just about any play, and he really has good court vision.
Look at Gray. He is really hounding Hurt.
Darren Day's got to overplay, make guys go backdoor, force passes to be made that Alabama doesn't want to make.
This is really a physically demanding game now for UCLA, trying to play this catch-up. Here's Watley. We got a mismatch now.
He's got Gray on him. Let's see if there's a switchback.
5:34 left in the game.
It's an awful lot of time now to not be making up a decision whether you want to go into an all-out freeze or whether you're looking for the basket. And Alabama is looking to score.
But Johnson almost lost it again. Darren Day. That will count, and he's fouled.
He didn't make the signal yet, Gary. Yes, they count it.
That was a remarkable suspended move by Day. Able now to get a chance for a 3-point play.
What happened to Alabama on this sequence? There, Buck Johnson slips a little bit. Darren Day makes the nice steal. Comes down here, and Watley tried to hit him before that. Good call by the official in the fact that he was in the act of shooting. But what happened to Alabama there, Gary, is that they really were kind of like undecided. Do we go for the score, or are we in a delay? And there was just no continuity there.
Darren Day showed me some speed on that play. He just left the field. Buck Johnson could not catch up with him. 12 points for Darren Day out of Mission Hills. 6'8" senior.
Big three-pointer there.
Now they start to close it. 63-55.
Now UCLA not pressing full court. Now Larry Farmer jumps off the bench and gets him down here. Now look for the double team on Watley.
McGill, number 25, is checked into the game.
Get the double team on Watley. Try to get the ball out of his hands.
Look at that. Off to Richardson. 5 minutes now left in the game.
An awful lot of time. Now Wimp Sanderson is saying, we're not going to go ahead and play anymore. Going to sit on the ball. Going 4 corners.
Well, he didn't sit on it. Well, Hurt now kicked it out.
No, this is a 4 corner. This is a smart move by Wimp Sanderson because before the kids were undecided. There's a back pass.
Jackson, Davis. Davis is fouling.
Gotta get a time here.
A time has been called with 4:39. Top-ranked UCLA now making a concerted bid to overhaul Alabama. Let's go back now, Billy, and recapture that last break down the floor.
Well, I talked about the kamikaze defense, the big overplays, and that's what UCLA is doing right now. They're making every pass a tough one. Now here comes Davis down, gets Jackson on the arm. There was the brush, and for the second time down the court, UCLA has an opportunity for a three-point play on the steal.
8 points this half for Jackson, 12 for the game.
Gary, you can look down at the other end of the court when Alabama gets it. I think they'll be in an all-out delay type game.
They miss a big free throw there. And a held ball, and it will go to UCLA.
Oh, that was big break. The official out of position on that call. Enos Watley had the ball. Kenny Fields grabbed him by the arm.
Tell you what, Kenny Fields, if he was aware of that, that was a heads-up play, wasn't it? If he was aware that that ball would go to them. Now the next one, of course, will go to Alabama.
I think Kenny Fields was just trying to hustle and go after the ball, and he did a good job with it.
Here's Fields against Hurt. Reach over on Darren Day. Day committing the personal foul. Well, they lose an opportunity there.
I think Watley might be on the line. He was back in there battling for rebounds again.
So UCLA missed an important free throw. Then they got the ball on a held ball and did not convert that. So there's two opportunities. You can't afford to
Gary,
get away.
let's see who they put on the line.
Could be Hurt.
Bobby Lee Hurt on the line.
Boy, the crowd now trying to intimidate Hurt at the line, waving the arms.
Now they can't decide which guy should be on the line. Everybody wanted to say it's Davis.
Hurt with 23
Here you go.
points.
Here you go. Now they're putting Davis on the line. Davis actually a higher percentage shooter. He's 75%. Hurt 72%. You got 44 and 34 out there. Maybe they want to come up and look at our replay. Okay, here it is. Bobby Lee Hurt out there playing defense on Kenny Fields. Here goes the shot up. Rebound.
Well, looks like Buck Johnson involved in that one.
I don't know. It's tough to tell. I think maybe it should be Buck, but it's going to be Bobby Lee.
He is 5 of 6 from the line tonight.
Look long. You got to make those free throws down the clutch. Now UCLA, with all this experience they've got in their club, is a perfect team to work hard and to come back and have some patience.
Alabama 11 of 15 for the line. Watley tries to come up with it at the 4:10 mark. UCLA will reset it, trailing 63-57. The top-ranked team in the country. And that's the pressure of being number one. Everyone comes after you. You're the hunted. And Alabama's in the hunt right now.
Alabama staying in that man-to-man.
Fields over Hurt. Rebound, Mike Davis. Davis.
Now it'll be Alabama's ball. He should just hang on, let himself be tied up, rather than try to make a tough play. Yeah.
The stabilizer, number 3, Watley. Less than 4 now. 3:44 left in the game. Watley taking into traffic.
Use the left hand. Some play.
18 points for Watley, 23 for Hurt. What a 1-2 punch for the Crimson Tide. 14 points in this half by Ennis.
Good job by Day not to slip away.
Jackson. There's the time left. 65-59, a 6-point game.
UCLA having a hard time keeping the ball away from Enos Watley.
Davis saved it on to the other side. Here comes Foster.
He can make that shot.
It's a 4-point game.
You get a feeling, Gary, that Alabama may be a little tired. They haven't substituted as much as UCLA. They may be wearing down a little bit.
2 minutes, 52 seconds left in the game. Davis bouncing into Darren Day, no whistle. Here's Watley. Nice pass to Davis, and he's hammered. It'll be Holton with the foul. That'll be his second personal foul. Boy, this crowd's in the game now.
Here we go. Going on the inside again. Enos Watley with those soft passes inside. Davis makes the good catch.
Davis at the line. Remember now, they missed the 1-and-1.
Gary, I said they may be a little tired. Every kid on Alabama's team was bending over, holding their knees, which is usually one of those signs.
Davis with 6 points. Another missed opportunity. Davis has not scored in the second half. All 6 points in the first. He has 9 rebounds, however.
This is the pair.
And now with a 4-point deficit, UCLA trying to maintain their #1 ranking with 2:37 to go.
Nice patience by UCLA right here.
Rod Foster hasn't been scoring that much. Nice pass to Fields. It's a 2-point game.
Great patience by that ball club.
Fields with 13. 2:13 to go. Off to Richardson. Alabama in real trouble now. Off to Watley. Oh, he got it out.
Well, what the Alabama kids have to be aware of, they get the next held ball situation. Of course, not if the defensive man ties you up. So.
That's right. Watley on the rejected, but a foul.
Boy, did he go down. He got pinned underneath Kenny Fields. Let's see how he is.
I think he's going to be okay. The kid has courage. He wants to take the ball. He wants to make the big play.
Here he comes inside. Uses the right hand, the left hand, whatever he needs. Goes inside. And here's where he gets put right down under Kenny Fields.
A timeout with 1:53. That foul was against Rod Foster, his second. Both teams already in the 1-1. We'll be back with Alabama leading by 2. Gary Bender, Billy Packer, 1 minute, 53 seconds left. Alabama, who led by as many as 16 in the second half, now protecting a 2-point lead. And this crowd, during that last break, was beside itself. The cheerleaders have them at a fever pitch, and definitely a home court advantage now for UCLA.
Gary, a little self-promotion here. This game was basically made by TV to bring these two teams together for the first time in their history. Sometimes we get criticized for that, but nobody can complain tonight. This has been some ball game.
Watley with 19 points. So after some important misses, Watley, who has 15 of his 19 in the second half, gives him a 3-point lead.
Some concentration, huh?
Back to a 4-point lead, a minute 53.
Timeout had to help Alabama a little bit from a stamina standpoint.
Darren Day inside the Fields. He's fouled. He couldn't get it to drop for him, but a foul going against
Bobby Lee Hurt. That's
Bobby
number
Lee,
4.
and that's 4 on him now. The other man that had 4 is Mark Farmer, but we haven't seen him since the very start of the second half.
Well, it was about 12 minutes or so when he sat down and hadn't gotten back in here. He may have to go back in.
13 points for Kenny Fields. Kenny Fields, along with Foster, the last part, or I should say, the first part of his top 10 have been carrying him. And tonight, it's been a little different story.
Well, Kenny Fields' foul shot against Maryland was the only shot that didn't go that cost them a victory there.
Fields is 2 of 5 from the line now. It's a 2-point game with 1:36 left. And here comes the pressure.
Rod Foster on Watley, trying to keep the ball away from Watley in the inbounds, which they do.
Buck Johnson.
They had a double team him right now.
That's too much dribbling, but he is fouled. It's going to go against Darren Day.
That was okay. That was a good move by UCLA. Go right after the freshman, get the double team, keep the ball away from Watley.
Now Johnson for the year shooting 65% from the line. It was his offense early that really got him started. He had 11 points in that first half. 14 for the game. He's 2 of 3 from the line.
I'm short.
Rebound Day, and they have a chance to tie it up. The last tie we had was at the 11:06 mark of the first half.
That's a great rebound by Darren Day. 2 hands on the ball.
You see the time in the lower portion of the screen. Fields trying to tie it up. Hook brings it down, playing with 4 fouls. That's 9 rebounds for Bobby Lee Hurt.
Enos Watley can't touch it.
Oh, Davis almost palmed the ball.
He sure did.
54 seconds.
There's the double team again.
And
What Wim Sanderson was standing right there, he called the timeout.
Now remember, though, the alternating held ball would go to Alabama. The next time we have that, we're going to keep it here with 50 seconds left in this game.
But Gary, you don't get the held ball if you do it defensively and create the 5-second count. So that's what Wimp was worried about. Fortunately, it was right in front of his bench, so he could call the time.
So UCLA trying somehow to tie this game up. UCLA has 2 timeouts left. Alabama has 1.
There you see the 3 coaches standing together there, getting their game plan before they sit down with their team. It's something that Digger Phelps really started, to my knowledge, working with your assistant coaches. They've got other eyes out there. They've got other feelings. They can give you the game plan, and then when you go into huddle, they know you're the boss. And Larry Farmer's done a fine job sitting down and relating to his ball club on this comeback.
Greg Empelman and Kevin O'Connor, the assistants. Let's go in now to the huddle.
The way they match up here, Darren, you're here on the ball. Like inbound the ball on the side, right? Because every man inbounds the ball on the side. I want you to get up and put real good pressure on him, okay? Everybody locked in. Offensively, when we come down, we run a letter for Rod. Everybody know that. We run a letter play for Rod. Rod, if you're not open, don't force it. We'll get the ball inside when we get fouled for a 3-pointer.
Let's go, guys. Let's go. Hey, let's defense. Hey, we win with defense.
Okay, obviously UCLA has got to force pressure defensively. If they don't get the ball back, the game is over. So they want to force a lot of pressure, try to create the turnover. There's Wim Sanderson. You know the pressure he's got to be under. He won a 3 overtimer at Penn State, but then he's lost by 4, by 2, by 3, and by 1. And with this pressure in the league going on him, he hadn't been able to crack a smile yet.
50 seconds left. You saw the pressure of that #1 ranking riding on the huddle. There's a throwaway to Holton. To Jackson. Blocked. Saved somehow by Holton, but to Johnson. Oh, away. Fields to Holton. 34 seconds. It's tied up.
What a turn of events. Alabama only has 1 timeout left. That's 6, and they use it.
That ball went back and forth like a tennis match.
Johnson, the freshman, had it. All he had to remember is they had the ball and the lead. He did not have to make a pass and threw the ball away.
25 seconds left. As you said, Alabama has just used their last timeout.
That was some flurry there.
Well, UCLA has been involved in some close ones. They lost that one against Maryland, a close one against Louisville.
Guys, listen up, listen
They
up.
also won a 1-pointer over Arizona State. Look at this, the intensity of Larry Farmer.
Never guarded Edith Smartly. This man takes the ball out of bounds. Drop back, we're going to double team Watley so he can't get the ball. No fouls. No fouls. Now, be alive. They come out and they run this crap. Make sure if the ball is passed here, get yourself up so you don't
Okay,
get
here's the sequence. They get the ball down to Bobby Lee Hurt in the corner, which you don't want the ball down there. Watley does a great job here getting his hands, or trying to get his hands on the ball, does with Jackson. Ball bangs around, is thrown back out by Holton, comes right to Johnson. He didn't have to make the pass. There's no place to go with the ball. You've got the ball in the lead, don't make a play there as Holton gets it back, makes a great play. Now you heard Larry Farmer saying that huddle, Gary. What we want to do is whoever has Watley, get a double team on Watley. Don't let him handle the ball the rest of the game.
Come down, run a letter for the last shot.
And we win with defense. Let's go. Let's go. Defense.
Now let's see if they can execute what Larry Farmer wants, and that is double team Watley. Let anybody else handle the ball on the inbounds, but don't let him get his hands on the ball with 25 seconds to go.
On that last sequence, Holton made 3 plays. He made the steal, he saved it inbounds, and then made the basket.
That's right, and here is something that's always critical. The first object is to get the ball inbounds.
UCLA has never led in this game. It's batted out of bounds. 24 seconds, took 1.
And they don't have that other timeout to call, so that they can, in a 5-second case, there they get it back.
UCLA has 2 on the other hand. 20 seconds.
Seems like Davis has trouble handling that ball in the open court area with that thumb.
Hurt last time got in trouble. This time he got it out. You see the time.
There's a push. Why did why did Rod Foster do that?
I have no idea.
You know what might have happened?
2 shots.
What? But it's a tie score. He wouldn't go for the ball. He might have thought that the fans were right when they counted down 5, 4, 3, and it's going to be a 2-shot foul. I don't know what Rod Foster was thinking up there.
And Larry Farmer doesn't either. Farmer is just, he can't believe it.
Rod just lost it here. There he is. He just pushes. He just lost it. He might have thought that they were behind and wanted to stop the clock. Here he's talking to Larry Farmer on the sidelines. Nice job by Larry Farmer. Kid makes a mistake. You don't get on him. Let's get back to the game.
Isn't that something, though? You talk about concentration and pressure. That shows you the pressure, doesn't it? As fine a player as Foster is, a senior, a veteran, to get into those circumstances and forget what the statistics were on the scoreboard. Now, free throws coming up. Davis, from the free throw line, Billy, is 0 for 2. So he hasn't hit any yet in this game.
That's right, he missed them not too long ago, and actually, if Alabama had made their free throws, they would have been in position to pull away in this ballgame.
Clean the letter, but we got to get some up quick. If you get caught with the ball, then take it to the hoop, shoot the ball in the basket. Hey, no second shots now. We got to get on the board. Let's go. Defense on 3, man. 1, 2, 3. Defense.
Patience. Come on.
UCLA has 2 timeouts left, right, Mike? 1 timeout. 1 timeout.
Alabama 10 of 16 in the free throw line this half, but Davis has not scored in the second half. He's 0 for 2 for the game for the line.
If Davis hits these free throws, Alabama just wants to occupy some of that 10 seconds. If he doesn't, then they have to get back and play that tough man-to-man again.
It's all tied up at 67. 10 seconds, 2 shots for Davis.
Farmer going back in the ballgame now to give him a little defense down inside. He's going to take out. Probably want a rebounder in there.
Going to take Richardson out.
And they're putting Farmer all the way back.
Both Farmer and Hurt playing with 4 personals.
Now, don't be surprised to see with 3 great guards that UCLA has on the floor to drive that ball all the way the length of the court. He used it all, didn't he? Watch Jackson or Rod Foster take it the length of the court. Here they come.
Foster. Won't go. Rebound, Johnson, and he's fouled.
2 seconds. Rod Foster did what we expected. He took it the length of the floor. Okay, here you go. Jackson gets it to Foster, and he's going to take it the length of the court. Nice job with the clock right down here in the corner. You see, he gets what he wanted. Good job by Davis. Wasn't that something? He did not come down with the Army to foul. There, rebound by a young freshman.
We've been told by Mike Swanson, our statistician, as the first rebound of the second half for Buck Johnson, but what a big one. Here he is at the line. 14 points, 2 of 4 from the line. And a 7-game winning streak.
Now, the best thing he could do right now is to miss this free throw. The ball had bounced off to the side. There's a little bit of an early celebration down here.
Yep, they're celebrating in the backcourt, but a 7-game winning streak just about be snapped. The last loss at home was a year ago, November 27th, when Brigham Young beat him here.
It's the best thing he could do is miss that free throw.
And the top-ranked Bruins of UCLA have been upset. Alabama coming in here struggling and just playing a great basketball game. I want to ask you who your MVP is going to be.
Ennis Watley.
Ennis Watley? Boy, it's a tough vote because Bobby Lee Hurt was so good, but we'll give it to Watley. 70-67. Alabama has won their 11th game of the year against 6 setbacks. And if you don't respect the Southeastern Conference right now, you better start, because Alabama has beaten the #1 team in the country.